church. And please join us in this amazing food that has been prepared by everybody here. We brought a dish in.
Many Ricky hands. I mean,
Yeah,
not little
yeah,
Ricky
anytime
hands,
you eat
lots of Ricky
food
hands.
that's made by Reiki hands, you know it's going to be good. And so that's what happens here. Okay. Did you happen to notice the Happy Easter Fields Day peeps on your program? I think
Fool's
that's
Day.
so cute. Happy Easter
Fool's Day, yeah.
That's very seldom that we have Easter and Fool's Day and Spring and Passover all on one day.
Yeah, I think the last time was 1956.
That's the year I graduated from high school.
Oh, there you
That's the year
go.
you were born. Yay. Yeah. Wow, and we're celebrating it again. That is so great. Okay. Well, now, wait just a minute. I have to ask our choir director. Do you want to sing now or after Joyce speaks?
What does Joyce think?
After one. After.
What?
After.
Joyce is out.
Would you like the choir to sing now or after you speak?
After she speaks. After.
Okay.
Okay. Well, then now I get to talk about Joyce. I always, this is one of my favorite things to do is talk about Joyce. She's going to be speaking about resurrection, renewal of life. And for those of you who haven't heard, our wonderful Reverend Dr. Joyce Brown, she travels all the way over from Santa Cruz and all of this traffic and hullabaloo on Sundays. And she brings with her a wonderful partner, Patty. And they came over here just so she could talk to you.
Yay!
Yeah. And she didn't know she was going to do this until Tuesday, when I found out that Gloria, who was scheduled, wasn't going to be here. So she not only is talking for us, but she did it on virtually a moment's notice. The thing about Joyce and I is that we were talking a week and a half ago about how long we've known each other. How many of you ever do that when you meet somebody and you say, hey, we've known each other for... And I said, what? We've known each other for, did we decide 40 years, Joyce?
This time, yes.
We get older, so the number has to change, you know. 40 years that we've known each other. And what happened is we both changed. We both morphed into something different. And yet we still like each other. Isn't that amazing?
Lucky thing.
Because how many times have you found somebody changes and you kind of go, that's not quite the person I met. But for her, it is. She is, changed in such a way of becoming more gracious and more generous and just a delightful person. And I know you're going to love her. Please welcome our wonderful Joyce Brown. And Joyce, I see you have papers in your hand. Are you going to look at them today? Okay.
I'm surprisingly present and I got stuff.
Oh, you've got stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always have stuff actually.
Hi.
Good stuff. Y'all know the stuff word?
Yes,
Everybody knows the stuff word.
right.
It is one of my most favorite words. It covers everything. The stuff in the drawer, the stuff in the closet, the stuff in that shoebox has been sitting there for 15 years, and I refuse to let it go. Stuff.
You were just talking about that yesterday.
Well, I'm not that far yet, but I could be there. So I'm a book person.
Yes.
Uh-huh. So basically, I have about 1,300 books on my Kindle, most of which I've read, which kind of scares me just a little bit. More stuff. But I buy books. I love books. They're everywhere. But I wouldn't say I was hoarding them. There's a fancy name for that, other than a bibliophile or something interesting like that. There are all kinds of names for people who have these cravings for things that we have to make wonderful. But if you don't know the word, just call it stuff. Easter brings up times for me of being a little girl going to church in my white Easter shoes, my pink socks, my white dress. Maybe I had a hat, maybe I didn't. But since our mother loved to braid our hair, the chances are we didn't have a hat because you had to show that off. and a light sweater and white gloves that open right here.
Yeah.
Very nice. And we would walk a couple of miles to go to church. And then the minister would stand up there and do his things, and the choir would sing, and the sisters would shout, and the deacons would go, whoa, and it was Easter. And then we went outside, and they had hidden the eggs in the cemetery. I always thought that that was a conspiracy. You going off into the cemetery, because back in those days, like some churches now, the cemetery was next to the church. You didn't have a church downtown, and the cemetery was at a private place. And then we would eat. The sisters and all of them would bring these baskets of food, and it would be set up outside the church, which was called church. We didn't have any R's in that day. I learned R. I came to California and learned R. Poach, church, R. And we would eat wonderful food. And our mother would say to us, don't y'all eat. And I would look at her because I know what was in that basket, Oh, wonderful stuff. But we knew why we weren't to eat. It wasn't because we were doing something like not eating. It was because there were people there who did not really have food. And so they would come to church to have a meal, which may have been that meal they were going to have that day. We were going to go back home to a kitchen full of food. And so we didn't eat. And everyone else that wanted to did. So I have these fond memories of Easter, of sharing, of giving, of singing, of my little white shoes,
Pink socks.
and all that good stuff that went with it. We were all on our best behavior. Nobody got punished that day for saying something you weren't supposed to say to sister so-and-so, things like that. We know that story, yeah. Sometimes as a child you would open up and say stuff you weren't supposed to say. Because there was a rule, if an adult asked you something, you were supposed to answer. Because you got into much trouble just because you didn't, as opposed to if you did. But Easter we had like a moratorium. You didn't eat. It was like Christmas and Easter and your birthday. There were these days. And Easter was a wonderful day. I enjoyed Easter. And it was a day of realizing how blessed we were. We were very blessed in so many ways. We had wonderful food. We had a father who protected us and kept us safe. We had a mother who was one amazing cook. I kid you not. Today you call them chefs. Then they were just cooks, and that was good. And we were in a community that knew everyone. And you knew what everyone's needs were. And you found ways throughout the year to do this. But Easter was very special. You brought out the best stuff you made. You brought it and you gave it and you asked nothing in return. Absolutely nothing. And that's the whole idea. Easter is to be celebrated. You are to give and share. Do whatever you want. But it's not like you sit around asking, like, I should receive something. Because we have been given it already, and it was called the resurrection. And for those of you who haven't figured out yet, this is kind of like how I am about things. I get there. I will get there. See, I just knew that. But it's called the resurrection. I had a wonderful talk with Gloria a few days ago. And she wanted to know if I would share a few words. And so I have them here, so that's why I have to read these. And I also had to remember to, glasses. All right. She called her title Resurrection of the Soul. The story is about the victory we have over life difficulties and how you can resurrect the soul to get you through these difficult times. I'm going to start with faith. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word. God sent his word and healed them. God sent his word and delivered them. When that word becomes consciously resonant or present within you, that is the resurrection of the soul. I want to repeat this. When the word becomes resonant or present within you, there is a reckoning. There is a manifestation. There will be a manifestation of the resurrection of the soul. And that brings you to the place where you can take that full turn away from whatever challenges are following you, or trudging at you, or toppling you over, but we don't fall down. Sometimes we fall down, and we need those of you out there to help hold us up and to speak the word for us so we remember to hear it within ourselves. Faith comes by hearing, and what we hear comes from our heart and soul. We have been given a way to use the word faith to bring about profound healing and resurrection of the soul within the physical body. This is about life being renewed. The word was given, and the word was simple. By your faith be it unto you. Easter is a wonderful time for resurrection of the soul. And so I'm going to do another little piece called Resurrection, Renewal of Life. And when I was on the phone talking with Dottie and Corky, and maybe even April that day, I'm not too sure. I think there was like 3 against 1. I was up against it. Oh, hello. Did y'all hear that?
What'd she say?
Uh-huh.
No, what?
What'd she say?
Uh-huh.
What did she say?
I said, she's power enough for that 3 to 1.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
Okay then. I'll remember that
Hallelujah.
when I'm messing with some stuff. So, resurrection, renewal of life. When I got the idea, it came to me like in a flash, and I sat down and I wrote down a few notes. It was quick. It wasn't one of those things that you deliberate on, you just write it down, because when it comes out, it is very real, it's very true, and it's coming from your heart and soul. It's not about having to get out the dictionary and find out what something means. Resurrection has always meant to me life. There wasn't anything about that teaching that said someone had died. Everything about it said that life had been reborn, come back to teach us, to share with us, to give us, to show us a way, and that we have to have the faith to believe that there's a reason why we are all here. We are not here by some accident. We are all here because the soul has been renewed into what we simply call the flesh or the matter. But the house, the body, is the place where the soul, which was resurrected, has come to live. And what do we learn from this? Some amazing teachings. We learn that there are those who are in the body that has these amazing gifts of music, of art, of math, of science, of talking, cooking, dancing, singing, everything you can imagine. Where did this come from? You know, you weren't just sitting there at 2 years old saying, well, I'm just going to go play the piano. Well, you could have, because your soul was talking, go play the piano. or get the guitar out. I'm beginning to suspect Jan. Whatever the soul was doing, the soul was teaching us through coming back into the house. These wonderful bodies we have to hold the soul so the soul can speak out and say something and teach us and share with each other and give and love and care. And we get to learn from each other. We get to understand what it is to be in soul consciousness when we stop trying to figure it out. You're not going to figure it out. I'm just going to tell you right now. So y'all can stop trying to figure out why I'm here. Well, you can get a reading on it. There's a lot of readers in this room. And you can get a reading on why am I here. But if you want to know for yourself, and you can, you sit and talk to you, and you talk to your soul, and you use your thinking process. It all sounds a little scrambled, but just go with it. You sit and you say to your soul, teach me. Why are you here with me? Why are we in this body, in this life? What are we bringing? What are we sharing? And if you hear, finish your writing, go back to school, develop your voice. Your art is wonderful. Get into that kitchen and perfect some menus because you got that chef ability. Don't sit there and talk about, I can't do this. Your soul knows what it's doing. It is letting your soul do it. So we have to get out of the way. And it's not easy for us to get out of the way because we believe the lie. We do believe the lie, you know that. We believe that lie about what we can't do. And then we believe the lie about we have to be pigeonholed. The lie followed me. It still follows me. It follows everybody, that doggone lie about what you can and cannot do. My soul says to me, seriously? Well, my soul talks like that. My soul says, you don't believe that, do you? I said, no. I said, good. So sit down and write that. So I sit down and I write it. And then I discovered that unless I share it with someone who is more open, someone will say to me, I don't get this. I don't understand this. And I'm thinking, what? I'm with my glasses on too. I'm reading this. And I am saying, we can resurrect who we are by becoming the greater us and not the lesser us. This is about the whole process of being born. It wasn't to come in here to feel the worst, to keep thinking the worst, to keep believing the worst, keep believing someone else's lie. The thing is, lies sound really good. They really do. And the reason for that is the source that usually the lie comes from. Some authority telling you something, what you can't do. That authority can be your parents. That authority can be a friend that you have placed above yourself. You have become the lesser. They have become the greater. You see, that is not okay. You want to be you. Anyone that's trying to tell you that you were resurrected to be owned by them, you need to back up off of that.
Yes, you do.
You need to step back from that and take a really good look and get on back to the mirror. Dottie done told us about that mirror this morning. That was a lake. It was beautiful. Go look. And when you look in there, who do you see? If you see your friend, come talk to me. Because you have brought them into you to be who you are, to tell you what you can and cannot do. I don't have any of those individuals in my life. I do not. Because they can't bear to be around somebody like me that says, you cannot tell me how to live my life when I cannot see that you are living yours. Am I telling you how to live yours? No. Then you cannot tell Joyce how to live her life. Okay, I'm going to put the C in. You cannot tell Joyce C how to live her life. You can give me some ideas and suggestions. You can say, I'd say this because I care for you. And I will say, thank you. Let me decide whether I will accept it or not.
That's right.
But you do not place it on me. But we were given the resurrection. It wasn't about there is no choices. We have all the choices in the world. But when you deny your soul, you have denied your life. See, we have this thing called soul, mind, and body. They're like triplets. I believe that the soul is the teacher. The body is the house. And the mind is supposed to be following orders, but it don't like to do that. The mind wants to take over and tell everybody what to do. The mind wants to tell you you're ill. The mind wants to tell you you're not smart. The mind wants to tell you you cannot have more. The mind wants to tell you you cannot have it unless I say so. The mind wants to tell you that all the time. Right in the middle of reading a wonderful book or watching a lovely movie or just sitting quiet, the mind will come through and say, oh, you're wasting your time. I tell my mind, I say, excuse me. We have some really good conversations. I talk to my mind. We made a pact back in the 90s. I'm serious. I'm going to tell it to you because it's Easter. We resurrected. My mind was giving me the dickens. Everything was not going to work. Everything was going to work because, well, you name it. And race got in there. Being a woman got in there. You name it. It was just all showing up. I said to my mind, what do you want? I thought I'd ask. Since it was busy telling me everything I didn't want to hear, it might tell me what it wanted. The mind told me what it wanted. The mind said it wanted to tell me what to do. See, your mind is going to tell you the truth, so you don't do this unless you're ready for it. If you're not ready for the truth, keep doing what you're doing. But if you're ready for the truth and to come into your resurrection of your soul, then you got to get clear with your mind. If you don't get clear with your mind, that's your responsibility. It is nobody's in this room or the 8 billion of us on this planet. You will not give me that stuff. I will not carry it. I told you before, y'all were here or not. It's heavy. I refuse to carry it.
Yes, ma'am.
I got enough to carry me about. And I tell you right now, I can get pretty damn heavy with myself. And no, and I did not say the D word. And for those of you who heard it, you did not hear that. It's all in your mind. Thank you. So when you want to know what your mind is about, ask your mind. It will tell you. I made the deal with my mind. I said, it's fine. I said, I understand you need to have your moments to go and do some things. You want to read this or you don't want to do anything. You want to watch that kind of movie, whatever. Because your mind does. It really does. This is not a game. It really is real. The mind has an agenda. And it's okay to help your mind to live some of its desires. But it doesn't get to live all 1,000% of them. While the rest of you is waiting for the mind to get quiet. So my mind decided that it wanted, I said, what do you want to read? And it told me. I said, what kind of movie you want to watch? It told me. I said, well, okay. We've been through this for years. I said, well, when I finish working on this project, we can go and watch that movie, or I will read that book, and you can get a half an hour to an hour. And my mind said, fine. And when I do that, my mind, that part that seeks to sabotage me, is silent. What do I hear? I hear my resurrected soul. See, that's how it works. This is figuring it out. Break it down to the simplest levels. Do not make your life complex. For goodness sakes. Okay? We live in a country where we have enough complexities. You cannot turn on the television without somebody telling you that every time you sneeze that you're probably going to die. So that's enough complexities for me.
From the cure.
That's why I turned the volume on. So when you're looking at your soul, so what does my soul want? Well, my soul loves to talk. Okay, y'all figured that out. My soul just enjoys life. My soul does love a good conversation, a good debate. My soul likes to teach me things that there is no way that I could say that I went to the university and learned them. Because what comes through, they don't teach it in the university. You understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
See, mind is more like the university, and I enjoy my mind. We had a good time at the university. I thought the university was a strange place, but my mind loved it. But my soul is not about the university. My soul is about resurrection, and it is about whatever the universe is and everything in it. That's what my soul is about. So my soul teaches me differently. My soul, actually, I'm just going to tell it on my soul. We'll just get it out. For whatever reason, my soul loves big monster movies. You know, the big sharks and the big spiders and that sort. We can't deal with the snake thing, though. I try. But for whatever reason, you know, the big squid, my soul likes that. First I said to my soul, I said, well, what's this about? I said, this stuff creeps me out. Oh, and my soul likes vampires.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, werewolves, yeah. I said, what's that about? My soul said, it is so unreal that it's amusing. My soul finds it amusing. It doesn't make me afraid. It doesn't frighten me. It's amusing. For my mind, those things are about fear.
Yeah.
For my soul, it's just about fun. You've got to find your base to come from. You don't have to just come from the one. We did not come back in here and get into these bodies to follow one road. We did not. Because I can tell you, everybody is on that one road, and that road's got a lot of holes in it. I have a saying that my soul likes to follow the road less traveled. And I know there's a book out there called that. Peck, I think. Scott Peck, something like that. But that's not how I'm using it. The road less traveled for me is the road I want to be on. How I'm seeing it, that is the road of my soul. It's not the road of my family. It's not the road of my friends. It's not the road of the world or anybody else. It is my road. And the road that I follow takes me to where my soul and I are going, and my mind is coming along. But the mind is not the dominant factor. What was resurrected was your soul. The mind got an opportunity to rest and heal. The soul did not come back in here, from what I can figure out for Joyce, with a mind that was full of doubt, worry, fear, anger and stress and jealousy and wanting to do violent things and make war. That was not my soul. But the mind learns all of that. And then what the mind learns becomes its belief. It will practice it. What does my soul know? My soul knows the other side. My soul knows where to go and how to teach me. I just have to learn how to listen and get out of the way. We don't know everything. You see, our soul, there you go, teaches us what we ought to know. Because I believe if our soul told us everything, we'd probably explode. We'd shut down, we wouldn't be able to handle it. It would be too much. So we get things in increments. We get things in a way that we can digest it and have it make sense, but we're still learning how to do this. So sometimes when you're not at your best, don't beat yourself up. Don't call yourself names and don't say, I'm dumb, I'm stupid, I can't figure this out. Yes, you can. But you have to stop talking to your mind who's telling you you can't figure it out. You get your center and you go and say to your soul, I know you're in there. It's okay. Talk to me. What do I do today about this? Can you guide me? Can you give me some insights? Is there someone I can call and talk to? Ask. But there are times when asking your best friend is not the answer. If you think it is, those of you who've done it, you know it wasn't. because of what they told you. Or they told you they were busy. They get back to you. You haven't heard from them yet. See, sometimes the best friend don't want to hear you have an issue. They don't want to hear you have a concern. They don't want to hear that you have pain. Sometimes the best friend doesn't want to hear that. And that's okay. But your soul, that's different. That's the best friend you got. There is no better friend. There is no better friend. And we were given that through a most beautiful teaching. And we tend to forget it because we keep looking outside of ourselves for someone else to tell us what to do. But when you follow your soul, my soul has never betrayed me or deceived me or tried to trick me. If I don't listen, I got to deal with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my glasses on and find this sentence I'm supposed to be reading. Okay, it's here. I have 6 pages. Okay. See, I'm going to not find it. I know what's happening. Okay. Let us approach Easter as a time to heal differences and to build futures based on wholeness and love for one another. Let us approach Easter as individuals that are ready to come from the heart and soul of who we are. That we are ready to let go of what was and use the gift of life we have to make a difference. We do not need to sacrifice ourselves to make a difference. We are to share of who we are and to give from love and heart as one. Let this be the meaning of Easter, and not seek to find some hidden magical meaning. The magic comes from within us. Thank you.